This is the new Volvo C40 and it's a little bit like IKEA's meat-free meatballs because this vehicle is vegan friendly. That interior, you cannot get it at all with dead animal skin, aka leather. Also, while this may look like a gas-guzzling pointless SUV, it's actually only available as an electric vehicle. Now in this video I'm going to talk you around the exterior, the interior, I'm going to see how practical it is, try out some of its technology and take it for a drive, which will include me launching it, see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching CarWow.
Buying a new car? Then head to CarWow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. CarWow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start this video by talking about the design of the C40. So here at the rear you've got a little boot lip spoiler, another kind of weirdy spoiler here at the top of the roof, and very steep rear window, then quite a fat stubby bottom. Then you've got classic Volvo design tail lights like those, nice pronounced wheel arches. I'm not so sure about this looks a bit pronounced as well, this cap, that maybe it's just a one-off on this particular car. That'd do my head in. Anyway, you get a contrasting black roof, contrasting mirrors, wheel sizes, they start at 19s, rising to 20s, and they're very easy to curb. Look, someone's curbed these ones already. Wasn't me. Moving down the front, very much a Volvo look here. Obviously a blanked out grille because you don't need a big grille like on an internal combustion engine car, but there is still some vents there for cooling the electrical system. Oh, and if you have the entry level car, you don't have these little fog light bits here. But other than that, all models look pretty much the same. Here on the inside, the C40 feels just like an XC40. It's pretty much got the same design. There are some slightly different trims on the inserts there, but the rest of it is identical, even the furry bits and the door inserts. Does it feel like a car that starts from £45,000? I guess when you consider that it's electric and electric cars are more expensive, then yes it does. But if you want to make sure you're paying a fair price for your next car, you need to check out CarWow. And to do that, you can click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Also check out CarWow if you're selling your car, because our dealers will bid on your car to make sure you get a fair price for it. Now if you want to do all that after watching this video, just simply Google "Wow Me CarWow" and we will wow you. So is this car wowing me? Well, the infotainment system, it runs Android Auto, which is good for me. No, it's not so good if you've got an Apple phone though, because there's no Apple CarPlay. Not for now, but they will be adding it later. The infotainment system itself is fairly easy to use, but there is something that annoys me about it, and you have to operate the climate control through it, and it's quite fiddly. Some of the icons are a bit on the small side, which is annoying. The digital driver's display is nice and big though, and you can get full screen mapping on it, and you can look at different views, but it's not quite as customizable as the digital driver's display on an Audi Q4. It is quite practical in here though. Look at this. So we've got big door bins, and that felty effect doesn't mean that you won't get any rattling sounds in there. There's some cup holders there, and you've got a decent storage area under here. There's another storage tray there, and look, you've got wireless charging for your mobile phone as well, which is good. You've also got a 12-volt socket there and 2 USB-Cs, and there's this little hatch there where you can put your mobile phone in there, so you can just have it stood up and distract you along with that screen. Anyway, it even fits my silly folding phone. Look, ooh, yeah, it fits it, but only when it's folded up. What's not so good though, the glove box is quite small. You could manual in there and then that's it. Not going to complain about the seating position, it's good, and obviously you got, where is it? There's a lot of adjustment there. Look at that, that's quite a range of motion, as is this. Look, so if you're short here and you can't really see, oh, blimey it, come on, go. There we go, it's working now. I was pressing the button wrong, but look, you can raise the seat up quite a way so you can see over the bonnet even if you're not the largest person. Bear with me, caller. There, that's how I prefer it. I like to sit nice and low in my tall SUV. Here in the back of the C40, while knee room is good, and so too is foot space. In fact, you can stretch your feet out under the seats in front, even when they're in the lowest position. Headroom is not so good, look at that. I'm almost touching the roof, and I'm under 6 foot. Anyone over 6 foot will find it a bit cramped. I'll tell you what's also a bit annoying. Rear windows are very, very shallow, aren't they? So it's almost like you're looking through a porthole. Thankfully, you get, as standard, a panoramic glass roof. Though you do also on a Tesla Model Y. In fact, a Tesla Model Y just seems bigger in the back. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. I'll tell you another thing about this C40. You see, it's based on the same platform as the normal XC40, which is a internal combustion engine car. And look, as a result, you've got this transmission tunnel, which you don't need with an electric vehicle, and that does impede practicality for if you need to carry 3 people in the back at once. I'll tell you what also impedes that, the fact that this roof, can you see it's sloping in, so if you do try to fit 3 people in the back, not only will the person in the middle be playing like foot space wars with the outer passengers are going to be sat like that with that roof like that. Tell you another thing that's a bit annoying. Yes, you've got an armrest, but the cup holders aren't covered, so you put your wrist in them. And while you do have through loading, look, it's rather narrow, and this part of the headrest gets in the way too. Still, the Isofix anchor points here in the back are easy to get to. You don't have to like trying to wedge the seat in between the seat cushions. And you do have some nets here. You have some big door bins, which are again lined with felt, and you've got lots of connectivity. So you've got, look at all these ports here. You've got 2 ports, 2 USB-Cs, and this car has heated seats in the rear as well, which is nice. Now let's talk through the practicality. So look at this. You have, where is it? Oh God, there it is. You have a front boot, which is obviously going to be massive. Look at this cover for it. It's not so massive. 31 litres in capacity, which yes, isn't as big as a Tesla Model Y's Fruit, but you know, at least you've got one, unlike the VW group vehicles like the Audi Q4 and the Skoda Enyaq and the VW ID4. So it's a place to store your cables. So I'll take that, I will take that. Now let's check out the rear boot, also known as the Root. Yeah, I'm just totally making this up as I go along. Anyway, you got 413 litres of space, which is about 40 litres less than in the XC40. Still, it's big enough. It's a nice square shape, plus no load lip. So yeah, it's quite comfy for just parking your ass here. Like that. Also, I like this. Look, you got your false floor there with some extra storage, but you can configure this. Like, look, you can use it as a divider. Lovely jubbly. I want to show you this as well. Look, when I fold down the rear seats, the seat rests automatically fold down like that, so they don't snag, and then you get a nice flat low bay like that. It's not perfect though. This sloping tailgate means that you just can't load this vehicle up as high as you can the XC40. It'd be nice if you had some handles here to release the boot so you don't have to lean in. And I can't for the life of me find a 12-volt socket anywhere in the back here. And that brings you on to 5 annoying things about the Volvo C40. Regardless of whether you paid the extra to have the auto cruise control fitted to your car, you still get the distance control for it. So people with more basic models will be going, oh, I wonder what this does. And actually, it's doing nothing at all. This low cover won't fit under the false floor. You think that it can do. It looks like if you try maybe upside down it will, but look, you think you got it? But come on. Surely they've designed this so that it will. Ah, look at that bit. That, you know what that means. Yes, haven't done it for a while, but fly! So the location of the rear view camera, because it's low down, it gets covered in road grime quite easily. Look, I'll just clean it off for you. Look, it doesn't actually have its own cleaning mechanism like on some other cars. Also, the angle of it means that you get the top part of the little boot lip in it as well, so the view isn't so good. It's quite unusual for a hatchback not to have a rear windscreen wiper, so it's quite annoying if it's kind of rainy and stuff and you need to clear the rear screen. What's also annoying is this, if it is raining, the way the water just comes off the boot just means you're going to get soaked. Yeah, oh God. The brakes are so creaky when you're manoeuvring. Have a listen to this. Regardless of which direction you're going in as well. That's just awful. So embarrassing in your new car. However, it's not all bad. Here's 5 cool things about this Volvo. I love this feature. So you've got a little bin here, which is perfect for your snotty Omicron tissues, and then once that's all full, you can take it out and then just like empty it all over the inside of your car. Oops. Oh, but the entry-level car gets keyless entry and go. And just like with the Tesla, you don't have to press a start button or anything. You just put it into drive and bye. There's Isofix anchor points on the front passenger seat as well as 2 in the rear. Why don't all manufacturers do that? As a new dad, I'd much rather have my child here next to me where I can keep an eye on her than tucked away in the back. The towing capacity of this C30 is 1,800 kilos. Admittedly, that is 300 kilos less than a petrol XC40. However, it's decent for an electric SUV. For instance, it's better than you get from a Tesla Model Y, a Polestar 2, a Skoda Enyaq, and a VW ID4. I think I'm going to pass out. You can now get a Volvo on subscription. And it's a little bit like renting a car, only over a longer period, and therefore it's a lot more cost effective. However, the period that you have the car for doesn't have to be as long as if you're leasing or buying it through PCP when you're tied in for a much longer period. For instance, you can cancel your subscription within 3 months' notice. Also, the subscription includes maintenance and servicing. And if you'd like to find out more about Volvo subscription service, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below to see how you can do it through carwow and get a bit more information. Go check it out. Now let's talk about motors, batteries and charging and that sort of stuff. Now, if I'm doing this for an internal combustion engine car, we're looking under the bonnet at an engine, whereas I seem to do this segment now with electric cars, looking at charging ports. Anyhow, you can get two versions of the C40. There's the front wheel drive version, which has a motor at the front, and then you have the four wheel drive version, which has another motor at the back, so it's four wheel drive. So the front wheel drive one has 231 horsepower, whereas the all wheel drive has 408 horsepower. So it should be pretty quick, and I'll find out how quick it is when I launch it in a moment. Anyway, so you have two battery sizes. The front wheel drive car has a 67 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is good for a range of 269 miles. The four wheel drive version has a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, which gives you a range of 274 miles. Now in terms of charging, they'll both charge on a DC charger up to 150 kilowatts, so you can go to 80% full in around half an hour. And if you're charging on a home wall socket at 7 kilowatts, it'll take you about 12 hours to charge it from empty. Now, which is my preferred version of the C40? Which motor, battery combination and trim level should you go for? Well, I'm configuring my favorite right now on CarWow. I'm not at all just randomly pressing at my screen because if you click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description, you can find out my favourite C40 and the saving you can get on it through CarWow. Now let's see what the Volvo C40 is like to drive in town. So you can actually have a normal driving mode or a one pedal driving mode. So when you lift off the brake, it'll automatically slow the car to a complete standstill. It's quite abrupt, the braking on it, and it's quite hard to control the level of braking by lifting off. It's a bit sensitive, so you can feel like you're kangarooing a little bit down the road until you get used to it. Now, I'll tell you what's pretty impressive though, and that's the suspension. So sometimes with electric cars, they can feel a little bit firm over bumps when you're going slower. It doesn't feel quite as smooth as an XC40, but for an electric car, it deals with bumps really, really well. Now, the reason they have firm suspension is because they're quite heavy. This thing weighs like 2.1 tons, so you have to have reasonably firm suspension to stop them like kind of lolloping about all over the place like they're drunk or something. Now the steering on this car is pretty light. It's accurate enough, so it's good for just like nipping through traffic or manoeuvring. The view out the front is really good. You sit up high, you get a good view over the traffic. The pillars are quite large, but you've got big door mirrors. What's not good though is the view out the back window. It's tiny, it's like a little letterbox, it's rubbish. What's not so rubbish though is the turning circle. So it's 11.4 meters. Now let's see if that's enough to get me around this roundabout in one go, this little mini roundabout. Hopefully he's not going to crash in. No, he'd have crashed into me. Can I do it in one go without curbing those alloy wheels? This could be really bad. I'm going to just risk it. Sorry Volvo, if you're wondering why your wheel was curbed, this is the reason. No, I didn't touch it. I did not touch it. So you can go round. However, the turning circle on this is nothing compared to that on a Skoda Enyaq. That is just over 9 meters, which is insane. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, then please click on the pop-out banner up there, follow the link in the description to watch the video. Now, when you get out onto a faster road such as a motorway or an A road, this car also impresses there as well. So it's very, very quiet to travel in. All you get is a bit of wind from the door mirrors. In terms of the efficiency, well, this one's averaging 35 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which means that the range in the real world, when you take into account the actual battery size of this car, about 280 miles, which isn't amazing, but it's still pretty decent. Now let's see what this Volvo C40 is like on a twisty road. Now I would like to put it into sports mode, but there are no like driving mode buttons. However, you can go into a menu on the infotainment screen, it's very tricky to do while you're driving by the way, and add weight to the steering. It doesn't seem any heavier, the steering. You know, this car's fine on a twisty road, it'll go down it, no problem at all, it won't feel like it's going to flop over. You do have a bit of body lean in tighter corners, and you notice the fact that this thing does weigh over 2 tons because of the batteries and stuff, but it's competent enough. Not sporty, not as sharp feeling as a Tesla Model Y, but fine. Volvo fine. This twin motor version of the C40 is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, but what's the reality? I'm going to find out using my specialist timing gear here. Let's launch it. Oh, here we go. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? Way! There we go. 4.79 seconds. 0.09 seconds slower than they said. The lying, cheating, sneaky. I might give it another go. Okay, second chance. Oh, was that a bit of tyre squeal? What have we got this time? Oh, yes. 4.5 seconds. Sorry, 4.53 to be precise. They're not lying, cheating, sneaky what's-its. So then what's my final verdict on the Volvo C40? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the C40. It might not be quite so practical in the rear as a Tesla Model Y, but it's definitely better looking, and overall it's a really nice EV. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you click on those windows there, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWow to check out all the best offers on the latest electric cars. Thanks for watching.